how did you accumulate this knowledge? So it started with you getting into fitness and then kind of getting into gymnastics and learning this.
Yeah.
How do you exactly do that usually?
I mean, one of the biggest things that's really helped over the last like 3.5 years that we've been open has really been to invite a lot of other practitioners to come in and do workshops. And some of these people, like the knowledge they have doesn't exist in books. And they don't put out courses. They don't do anything like that, right? It's like, so you had like Andre Bondarenko and his wife come out, and they're both Circus Soleil performers. And it's like, they're not writing books, you know, they're not like putting together video courses for people. It's like, you need to learn from them. And I think it kind of goes to the greater idea of like the idea of being like an apprentice, or like you want to learn a craft. And it's like, you actually like work with the master, right? And you like work with them for like years, and you learn all the nuances and every detail that goes into it, and you're actually putting in like time and effort and energy into it. And so like having the facility to be able to do these workshops with these really high level coaches and practitioners from all the world, they've all learned in their own ways, and they've all done it through their own practice, and they're a living embodiment of what they do. And so being able to like learn from them has been fantastic in our development. So learning from others is highly valuable, you know. And we think of this as like, you know, maybe someone might not be older than me, but their training experience in their craft is significantly higher than my training experience in that craft. So like, let's say handstands, you know, I'll listen to somebody like Miguel Santana or Yuval Ayalan, because they've been doing it for like decades, and it's like they know a lot, you know. And to be able to speed up my progress as like my own personal training, but also in like my knowledge level that I can share with other people. It's like you want to gain your own experiences, you want to study yourself, but you do also want to like gain information from other people. Like you just have to, you know. So even like I really appreciated that one day where we were just working on you know, learning a couple things for cartwheel, and then we started doing like a couple like acrobatic stuff, and like how quickly like I just picked up like just doing that. I don't know, what was that kind of like tornado kick thing?
Butterfly kick.
The butterfly kick.
Yeah.
And I was like, I see people do that all the time. It's like, I feel like I probably need to practice a lot. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like you gave me just a few tips. I tried it a few times, and it was like, boom, just getting it. Now it's just like I need to like practice it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's two sides to that, right? One is like your ability to like instruct it and teach it and coach it, and give some feedback. But also two, from a learner's perspective, is like, we talked about in football, it's like you want to be teachable. And it's like, can you actually take in what that person is saying and then apply it? Because there's a lot of people that like listen to everything. I'm sure they'll try it, and it'll be like, they'll do it for years, and just like, they'll never get it. I think there's definitely a thing that goes towards like, how do you learn? It's like that learning process. And so I talk about this a little bit with regards to like learning. Like a lot of people watch YouTube videos or watch TEDx or whatever, and they think they're learning, and they like find out how to do stuff, but really they end up just like knowing some just very broad thesis of like what is being talked about, and they don't actually learn like what it is they're actually like listening to. So that continued like corrective feedback process that they need is really missing for most people in their learning process.
And the thing what I can add to this, like I think it's amazing when you have the, you know, instructors coming in who've been doing this for years, and they all experience. But what I saw in gymnastics place back in the UK, Beckton, East London, whoop whoop, and then when all these people meet from all different walks, what I saw, the greatest thing was the skill trade. It was used like a currency.
Yeah.
You teach me how to do cartwheel, I will teach you how to do a boxing. You teach me how to do rings, I will teach you to do how to handstand. And I was seeing that all the time. Yeah. And the greatest thing about it is that you also feel special.
Yeah.
Because like just a couple of days ago, I can teach you cartwheel.
Yeah.
And then afterwards you're like, oh, this is how you can relax your muscle, and this is what you need to do. And that's when you don't feel in debt. You don't feel like I owe something to this person. Yeah. No, I help this person, and this person helps me back. Yeah. And that's the greatest way how society develops and how they get better. Yeah. And like, honestly, to see that in gymnastics in Beckton, it was like this amazing dancer just shows you how to do proper box splits in flying in the air. And then you teach that dancer how to do a spin kick because they have no background in martial arts. They don't know how to land the kick, even though they're super flexible. And there's just so many stories where it can just go and go and go.
Yeah, it's. I wish it was a little bit more like that. Now it's become this idea of like being secret. Like people are trying to like really hold on to like their knowledge and don't want to really share it unless you pay for it. And I can understand that to a degree, but there's definitely a lot of development to be had if there's a lot of skill trade, a lot of shared experiences and shared knowledge. And there's a time and a place for, I think, for both. It's just finding a balance between the two. But people do put out like a lot of these systems with like, this is the best system. If you don't do this, like you're not going to do anything.
You're not going to have sex for 7 years.
Yeah.
You have to do it this way.
Yeah, so it's very
but it's interesting. You know what?
It's
I think it is a Bali mentality though, because the Bali mentality is like, I'm here. I want to develop my business. I want to be someone who someone looks up to, and I'm this magical guru who only I know how it is. And you do understand where they come from. But the greatest thing is about someone who is not really kind of making money with that. That's when they're willing to share, and then they see that they can learn something. That kind of camaraderie, I guess, just the friendship. Sure. And just, it's like back in the days when like there was no currency. The currency was like, I have potatoes, you have a goat. I'm going to give you 10 sacks of potatoes, you give me one goat. And that's how it worked.
Yeah.
You bring 10 cows, I'll give you my daughter.
In the old days, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's still there. But yeah, I think that's amazing way how to learn and how to grow and how to get better.
Yeah.
And so my original question was about how you learn all these things, and that's a perfect answer.
Yeah, and of course, like I still continue other paths of learning. So I think like there's a guy, his Instagram is like flexibility.research, and he puts out like a lot of really good research information on flexibility, which is not something that I'm not gonna spend thousands and thousands of hours looking at research papers, but I can look at someone like him who I trust to look at that research and then give me a lot of the information in a very condensed way, and it's like that's something I'm willing to pay for. And so I try to find a lot of like people like that as well who are really, really good at what they do, because what they are putting out as far as a product goes, I'm willing to pay for it because it's going to significantly reduce my learning time. Like I don't have to look at all the information they're looking at. They're giving me the bread and butter of everything they're looking at. And so this is another thing is like, don't be afraid to pay for good quality education, and do it because you're also supporting those people. Like they're not making a ton of money,
at least not all of them.
Yeah. And they're doing a lot of this because it's their passion. So finding people who are like living the part, putting out good quality information, that takes some time to research as well, because not everybody put out like really the perceived quality. So it's like it's a lot of marketing gimmicking, so you want to make sure that it's like you're getting really good information and getting good quality for the money that you're paying. But don't be afraid to pay, because you could technically get everything that you need off of like YouTube, but how many hours and days and weeks are you going to spend like searching out things? How many times are you going to make mistakes? How many times you like, there's like so many things. Like time is such a important commodity.
Just about to say how much you value your time.
Yeah.
So there's no money to put against your time. 100%.
So there's definitely like Yudi Marmerstein. He put out like a really nice book with a bunch of videos. It's like, it's way more value than what you're going to pay. I think his book right now is only like $75 or something like that. And it's like, it might seem like a lot for a book, but it's like the amount of quality information that he puts into it is totally worth it, because he just shares everything. He's so like giving, and it's like, I love guys like that. And those are the kind of guys like I love doing workshops with. I love like collaborating with. I love like working with them, because they do see it as like a greater it's a greater passion, it's a greater purpose. Like who they are is like, they really want to help people, and they're just trying to make ways to be able to do that
and make a difference as well. Like for so many people, that's what they call the Maslow development pyramid. It's like when you make sure that you have enough food to survive, blah blah blah. And then one of the highest ones is when you actually care about other people. When you actually want to help other people, instead of just taking their money or whatever. And it's like the same guy, like knees over toes, like Joe Rogan can't stop talking about him. Like guy just start just helping, and all of a sudden, and this is the thing, the good thing's going to be recognized and they're going to be rewarded. So, but it just has to go down to, again, do stuff what you enjoy and you're happy and you're just being honest.
Yeah.
How often do you try get people in to do some seminars and stuff? And it's not that easy at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, before all this pandemic and the travel restrictions, we'd have a workshop pretty much once every month, and that was the idea. And we had a bigger training camp once a year. It would be like a week long with like 4 different like practitioners, like Simon Atta, Cy Monster, and Fitness FAQ, and like we had Devin Kelly was part of that the last time. And so that's something that we definitely like to start up again, especially the workshops as well. So, we just got to wait for the borders to open up again. That's really the main thing, right?